Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling a project that honestly strikes fear into the hearts of a lot of homeowners, but it's literally one of the most satisfying badges of DIY honor you can possibly earn. We're talking about concrete leveling. You know the exact feeling. You're gearing up to renovate a space, maybe lay down some gorgeous new flooring, and then you realize the concrete slab underneath is just a rolling, wavy mess. So, can you actually fix this yourself? Spoiler alert, yes. You totally can. And today, we're going to break down exactly how you can pull it off.
But first, let's just get real about living with this problem. Are you tired of tripping indoors? Because we've all been there, right? Stubbing your toe on that one raised edge, fighting with doors that mysteriously stick to the floor, or trying to balance a bookshelf that insists on leaning, like perfectly to the left. A bumpy, sloping concrete slab isn't just an annoyance. It's an active, daily frustration. And quite frankly, it's kind of a hidden danger right there in your own home.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the uneven concrete problem, then weigh DIY versus professional help. After that, we'll cover essential tools and safety, and wrap up with our 3 steps to level.
All right, Section 1, the uneven concrete problem, understanding what lies beneath.
To actually fix an uneven floor, we first have to transition from looking at the surface to understanding what's happening underground. Concrete doesn't just warp on its own for no reason, right? These slabs are incredibly heavy, and their stability relies entirely on the dirt holding them up. So when that perfectly flat floor starts to sink or crack over time, there are usually a few sneaky, subterranean culprits at play. Take soil erosion, for example. Water runoff from bad drainage can literally wash the earth right out from under the slab, creating empty pockets, or what we call voids. Then, you've got moisture fluctuations, making the ground expand and contract like a giant lung. Toss in some aggressive tree root growth pushing up from below, or simply poor soil compaction from whoever originally built the house, and suddenly, that heavy concrete has nowhere to go but down into those voids.
And as our source material perfectly states, uneven floors can be more than just an eyesore. They can be a safety hazard. But beyond the obvious tripping risks for kids or anyone with mobility issues, these dips cause other massive headaches. Water starts pooling in the low spots, which can potentially damage your foundation. And if you're dreaming of installing new wood, laminate, or those big, beautiful floor tiles, yeah, forget about it. Those materials absolutely require a perfectly flat surface, otherwise they're going to crack and buckle almost immediately.
Section 2, DIY versus professional help, knowing your limits.
Now, before you grab your keys and rush off to the hardware store to buy bags of concrete, let's properly diagnose your specific situation. You really want to be on the lookout for those subtle indicators that your slab is shifting. I mean, visible cracks and obvious sloping or dead giveaways, sure, but look a little closer. Are there sudden noticeable gaps appearing between the floor and your baseboards? Is your current flooring starting to buckle? What about the doors swinging over the area? Are they suddenly jamming or refusing to close? Catching these things early is absolutely critical, especially before you go investing time and money into laying new underlayment for renovation.
And this brilliantly illustrates the clear dividing line between weekend DIYers and a major foundational crisis. If you're dealing with small, shallow, low spots in a manageable area and you're comfortable with a little physical labor, congratulations. This is a DIY project. But check out the other side. If you've got major structural cracks, serious foundation issues, or just massive square footage to deal with, you are officially stepping out of DIY territory.
So the crucial point is this measurement, 1.5 inches. This is pretty much your golden rule. If your concrete slab has sunk more than 1.5 inches, put the tools down, step away, and call a professional. Once you hit that depth, a simple self-leveling compound pour is just no longer the correct or safe solution.
For those really extreme drops, professionals step in with advanced techniques like mud jacking or polyurethane foam injection. Let's be very clear here. These methods involve drilling straight into the slab and using highly specialized, heavy machinery to pump material underneath, literally lifting that sunken concrete back up into place. This is definitely 100% not part of your standard DIY toolkit.
All right, Section 3, essential tools and safety. Gearing up for the pour.
I absolutely love this part of any project, gathering our weapons for this home improvement battle. You're going to need a mix of things you probably already own and a few specialized items you absolutely must purchase. Sure, you need your standard household shop vac, a broom, a mop, and a good level. But listen to me. Do not try to mix self-leveling compound by hand with a stick in a regular bucket. No way. You need specialized DIY gear.
a heavy-duty mixing drill with a paddle attachment, a gauge rake, which has these awesome adjustable depth cams to accurately spread the material to the exact thickness you need, the self-leveling compound itself, and large 6-gallon mixing buckets. Unlike regular cement, self-leveling products are highly engineered to flow like a thick liquid, and you need the right gear to control them. And please, whatever you do not ignore these essential safety precautions. Working with concrete dust and chemical compounds requires strict safety gear. You absolutely need safety glasses, heavy-duty gloves, and a proper dust mask or respirator. Breathing in dry concrete compound dust is incredibly harmful to your lungs. Throw on some steel-toed boots to protect your feet from heavy buckets, and make sure you have excellent room ventilation. Crack those windows and get the airflow moving before you even think about opening a bag.
Okay, Section 4, 3 Steps to Level, the DIY Masterclass.
This is where the compound meets the concrete. Prepare yourself for a bit of a workout, because once you start this process, you cannot pause it. Let's move to our steps and see how this builds into that perfectly flat floor. We can chunk this potentially intimidating operation into 3 easily digestible phases. Step 1 is prepare and prime. Step 2 is mix and apply. And step 3 is smooth and cure.
Step 1 is honestly the most critical phase for a successful outcome. You have to clean the existing concrete obsessively. I'm talking shop vac every single speck of dust, fill any existing cracks with a repair compound, and caulk the perimeter of the room so your liquid leveler doesn't just seep into your walls. And listen to me carefully here, you must apply the manufacturer's recommended primer. If you skip the primer or leave, say, oil or grease on the floor, the new compound will completely fail to bond to the old concrete. It'll eventually crack and peel, and you'll be starting from scratch.
Now lock in, because the pace is about to speed up drastically. Once you hit step 2 and mix that powder with water, the clock is ticking. You have exactly 10 to 20 minutes. That's it. That is your entire high-stakes working window before the chemical reaction takes over and the compound permanently sets.
It's literally like high-stakes baking. You must read the bag and get the water ratio absolutely exact. Too much water, the compound weakens and cracks. Too little, it just won't flow. So you mix it with your drill until it is perfectly smooth and lump-free. Then, you gotta move fast. Start pouring from the farthest corner of the room and work your way back toward the door so you don't trap yourself. As you pour, hustle to spread the flowing compound evenly with your gauge rake, letting it naturally seek out and fill up all those annoying low spots.
And exhale. Just like that, the frantic rush is over. Step 3 allows you to slow your pacing way back down. The compound actually does most of the smoothing on its own, but you can gently trowel the edges and corners to get them flush. And then, you wait. Let it cure. Depending on the product and how thick you poured it, this takes anywhere from 24 hours to a full week before you can install flooring over it. But let me tell you, there is absolutely no greater satisfaction than coming back after that curing period, laying a straight edge across the room and seeing zero light shining underneath. Just a perfectly flat floor done entirely by your own hands.
Now, what's really interesting about this final question is that the answer is entirely up to you. We've uncovered the hidden subterranean causes of uneven floors, established the vital 1.5-inch rule for calling a pro, gathered our specialized tools, and walked through the high-stakes pour. So go pull out a level, assess your own floors, and ask yourself, are you ready to take on the challenge and level up your next DIY project?